Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Second video tonight. Listen, I always told you when I started this channel a couple weekends ago that the goal was to bring insights directly to you as fast as possible. I also shared that I'm a curious person that looks through a ton of different sources of information to try to seek and find the truth. Tonight, I was looking at some major block trades, particularly those trades that were happening at the NASDAQ closing cross or right at the finish of today's action. Would it surprise you to know that there was $14 billion that crossed the finish line in the final seconds just in a few companies? These are companies that we all probably have in our portfolios or follow very closely. These are companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, Meta, Micron, and many more. What do these trades mean? That's what we're going to talk about in this video, because I think we have to interpret these trades and ask ourselves, are these bullish signs that these institutional investors are gearing up for a gap up tomorrow morning? Or are these bearish signs that these investors are getting ready for a massive exit before they head for the weekend? We're going to take a look at all of that, because tonight we're going to break down three trades in particular that I can believe will be the most interesting for us to watch when tomorrow's market opens. So before we get started, hit like, hit subscribe to the channel, and let's dive in now and take a look at some of those block trades. All right. I'm going to pull over here, guys. You can see, you have seen this before here. Let me change my view for you there. You've seen this view before. I've shared it, and I want to focus in on just a couple, as I mentioned. So obviously, I want to focus on and just first call out where we're looking. You can see in that top line here, Nvidia. Nvidia was the biggest block trade. So you can see, if you look under the value column, 2.1 billion right at the close, right across, over 11 million shares that crossed the finish line right there. And I think you take a look also what the trade price was. The trade price is in yellow, is at 183.34, kind of right at the bid. So we have to interpret that. Is this someone that is being an aggressive seller or an aggressive buyer? So the current price is at a 183.34, so zero deviation from where the price trades today. We also see Apple right below it. So Apple, again, also over $2 billion in value, trading in the final seconds, over 8 million shares there. You can see the trade price at 260.29, a little higher, a little closer to the ask. Is this a bullish sentiment? So let's talk about a few that I want to call out and jump out. First, to me, the most surprising one, I would say for me, is right in the middle, right below State Street. And if you look at the symbol on the far left, you can see the MU. So that's Micron I want to call out. There's a reason why that one is the most surprising to me overall. We remember, if we looked at the way it finished, there was this silent accumulation at the end of the day. So this is a trade of over 852, let's call it 853 million right at the bell at a zero deviation. So the trade price was exactly where the close was for Micron. You can see that it was at 397.05. That's exactly the same spot as the trade price. So the way we should interpret this, or way I interpret it at least, is that when a stock is consolidating, it's 10% below its high of where it was before, and you see a block this big, it's not a sell-off. It's more of a kind of a sign of warehousing or accumulation. So this very well could be a large investor, it could be an ETF, it could be a hedge fund, or another big whale that is just accumulating, getting ready for the earnings that are coming up in 14 days. You know, Micron's obviously, their HBM4 chip is sold out through 2026. So it could be big money parking cash ahead of the March 18th earnings. I think tomorrow, if we got to look at this and say, if the market opens up in red, keep your eyes on Micron. The cross here suggests that there's a floor, a strong floor at 397, that the big boys will not let this stock fall through. So it feels good to have that level of support. We have to look at what the market will do overall. We see it was holding in the after hours. So this is another strong sign with this huge closing cross for Micron that the floor is there. And let's see if we can expect a gap up. I think the other one I want to look at was the most interesting of the day is the Nvidia. It's the biggest. It was over second biggest. That and Apple are both over $2 billion at the cross. It came in at a 183.34. So the question here I have is, this institution's buying the dip that we've seen on Nvidia, especially after strong print, or is it someone that is trying to kind of head out the door? Let's say there's two ways to interpret it. We know the price target for Nvidia is about 240 or higher. And so is this somebody buying the dip, trying to get every share they possibly can before the next leg up in Nvidia, given the strong print they had, everything else that they're doing in the market? Is it somebody that's bullish on them, or is it someone that is a bit bearish on it and is looking at some of the Middle East headlines, looking at some of the concerns with the rising oil prices? We know that the index SPY has been under pressure. You can see a lot of trades for VU and SPY at the close today overall. So we know that's been under pressure. So is this a distribution? Are these big players handing out the shares to retail buyers before they head off to the weekend with some uncertainty from a geopolitical perspective? That's what we have to keep our eye on. So if Nvidia doesn't clear 185 in the first 30 minutes tomorrow when we open, that cross was an exit, not an entry. That's the way I'm interpreting it. Let me know below if you guys are interpreting that block trade any differently. And then I think the last one we should look at is the Apple one right below it. I'm kind of thinking this is more of a safe haven play overall. Big money kind of moving to safety. If you want to know the real smart money is hiding overall, I think we can interpret it's in that Apple trade right there at $2 billion at the closing cross. It kind of could be interpreted as a flight to quality while the rest of the market is sweating over oil prices and conflict headlines. Institutions are treating Apple like a high yield savings account. Apple's cross happened at the high end of the daily range. This tells us, or can tell us, that buyers weren't just filling orders, they were aggressively defending the 260 level. I think Apple tomorrow very well can have a gap up and lead the Dow overall. So those are the way I'm reading those trades. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think as well. Let me jump back over. Those are the three big ones I wanted to cover. I said I'll repeat it. Micron for me, I think we're looking at a kind of gap up from, just because we see this warehousing signal, this accumulation signal. To me, I'm reading that trade as the floor is there, earnings are coming up. We got a big movement at the cross, so I'm expecting to see stable and a gap up for Micron tomorrow. I think Apple, because of the flight to safety, I'm expecting a gap up into that, a strong day for Apple tomorrow overall. And then I would say Nvidia, if we can clear 185 in the first 15, 30 minutes of the trade, that's a great sign for this closing cross as well. It shows us that it's a bit more bullish and not bearish, not big investors heading off for the weekend, not wanting to worry about the geopolitical uncertainty that's happening. But those are my reads on the three. Those are three stocks that I'm going to watch tomorrow in the opening. Let me know if you see anything else on the list. There's anything else that jumps out to you. There was Netflix on there. That's it. That's an interesting one. We had Meta. We had Microsoft on there. Is there any that jump out to you that you think were interesting in those closing crosses? But those crosses don't happen by accident, guys. Someone just bet billions on where they think the market is going to go next. Which side are you on overall when you take a look at those closes? Drop a comment below. Do you think we'll have a bullish day tomorrow, or do you think it'll be bearish again? Hope you have a great night, guys. Talk to you soon.